Hi folks, welcome back to the Hoard. So, where are we here? It's about 4:25, 7:25, my son's birthday, Friday, 26.7 degrees Celsius. As typical, my battery's not fully charged, it's not under direct sun. You can see the real time there. It's 82 degrees on that. That says 80 degrees back there. So here we are. Anyway, well, I don't know where to start. Let's start out with the good things. Mustie1 did drop by for a visit on Wednesday. He had won one of my contests, guessing the price of the PT Cruiser. So when he won the contest, I forgot what the amount was, but he said when he responded, I said, "Send me your address, I'll send you some money." And he responded, "No, when I go by you, I'll swing by for lunch." And he did. He swung by, and we had lunch at a local diner. It was a lot of fun. It's very interesting talking to him. He and I grew up in a similar way, and actually we grew up not far from each other. I grew up at the time, and the zip code was Monroe, New York. Now it's called South Blooming Grove. It's in Orange County across the river. He was just over the line from Orange County in actually New Jersey. So where he grew up, not where he grew up, a little distance from where he grew up, there's a place known as Greenwood Lake, and it's kind of a resorty thing for people coming out of New York City and New Jersey and all of that area. It's nice. So when I was a kid, that was kind of more of the extreme of my boundaries of how far I used to roam. It wasn't right near my house. It was, I don't know, a good 25, probably about 25 miles from my house. And quite honestly, to get there, the cops in Monroe were a bit of a pain in the neck. And as outsiders, I mean, it would be cool because as outsiders, we were kind of, new people and all that. Strange thing to remember, reminiscing back to the olden days, we were allowed to drink at the age of 18 back then. And Mustie1 and I even reminisced. Back then, if you were out drinking with your buddies and you got caught by the cops, if the cop was cool, he kind of told you to behave yourself, to drive slow and all that kind of stuff. If he was, being, just kind of a little bit of a difficult individual, he would follow you home, maybe take your beer away or take away. We used to drink a lot of Boone's Farm, Strawberry Hill back then. Oh man, talk about something that'd get you sick nowadays. But anyway, so that's what that was our beverage of choice. It was between 79 and $1.19 a bottle all those years ago. So whatever, and everybody, you could drink at 18, so everybody had a false ID when you were 16. You would drive up, and if you drove up, that meant you were at least 16 or 17, and you would go in, and it was kind of a wink and a nod, and you'd buy your stuff, and I'm not speaking that let's go back to the good old days of drunken driving when you're 18 years old. Let's see how many kids we could kill. I'm not I'm not harking back to those days. I'm not suggesting we go back to those days. But what I am, I'm just stating the way it was. So, it is interesting, though. We grew up in very similar circumstances. It was kind of cool. Not that we reminisced about hanging together, but we reminisced about a lot of the same stuff. For both of us, if somebody had something that you could get and use, or get and fix up and sell, or however it was, you did, because neither one of us grew up with silver spoons in our mouths. So it was cool talking about that. Brought him into the upper garage here, and we talked about it. His garage is 24 deep. He's got a single door. He's got no back door. He's 30 foot wide. This is 24 wide. He's 30 foot wide. If I had to do this all over again, I would have, for just a miserable 6 more feet, that would take like all of this stuff here and just push it back and out. Not that it wouldn't take me long to fill the space, but I would still have the upper bays, the upper area where you put parts and all-terrain vehicles, the lower area where you put these things. But given that it would be 6 foot deep, all this stuff could go all the way underneath, and I would still have the entire width of the garage and anything I wanted to get to, I could get it there. And the other thing is, for putting stuff up on the shelf, given that, once again, I had the entire width of the garage, I wouldn't be fighting in between vehicles. It would just give me more space to get up there, whether I used a ramp and something, or a lift, or however I move stuff up there. It would just make life a whole lot easier. It was good hanging out with him. It was good talking to him. It was good reminiscing. Once again, we weren't at the same place at the same time, but we were, we were walking through very similar times in very, very similar places. Lunch was good. Lunch, is always good. After we finished lunch, I told him, I said, boy, this place has really great desserts. And the manager of the place asked what we wanted for dessert, and we picked red velvet cake. The guy brought the 2 biggest pieces of red velvet cake. I mean, picture like those toolboxes standing on end on a plate. It's like, oh my God, we're supposed to eat this. So, I unfortunately ate the whole thing in one sitting, which just indicates I'm a pig. So there's that. It's cool. It's really cool meeting YouTubers. In my neighborhood right here, I don't have anybody who does this. I mean, there's a few kids who kind of like have a bike or two, and they kind of screw them up and get rid of them, and once they start driving or they get a girlfriend, they no longer have any interest in playing with any of this stuff. Or if they get a new video game thing, they kind of give up on all this stuff. So there just aren't, I don't have anybody around here, so it was cool to run across somebody with similar interests and all that. What's been interesting for me since I've got on YouTube, I kind of do it to get myself organized, right? If you're going to make YouTube videos, you can't put up 1,400 videos of that bike right there, right? I mean, you guys don't want to see me, 3 times a week with the bike sitting right there and me just gunning it, right? You guys actually want to see something or learn something as I'm playing with such a bike. Same with these things here, right? You kind of get into them, and what did we learn? Well, if you go through the mountain of videos that are out there, and I guess I'm approaching 700 at this point, we learned how to make a portable CDI unit, right? That's that thing sitting right there by the helmet, that black thing, right? We learned that we could put Chinese CDI units on a 200S, right? We kind of went through all the troubleshooting of a 200ES with the, you know, how crap likes to get between the flywheel and the stator and eat the stator up on you. You know, we went through recently how to use kind of a miniature solder pot to make, you know, to shorten cables up so that these things could actually have the right cables on them. Went through a lift ring conversion. So I always feel like I'm trying to learn something and trying to take you guys with me, you know, to see what you can do. As one plays around in their lives and gets involved with this kind of stuff, what you learn fairly quickly to be successful at fixing this or anything, it takes like a bunch of skills, and gradually you pick up the skills. You get one of these, you look at it, and you say, okay, I got a bike. Does it have air in the tires? Could I roll it? I mean, what kind of condition is it mechanically from a rolling point of view? Pretend the motor runs. The motor runs. Could you actually ride it, or is the, you know, handlebars torn off and all that? Once you get beyond that whole pile of trivia, then you get to the motor. What's wrong with the motor? Do I have spark? Does the motor turn over? Is it seized? You know, once you get to the point where, well, I don't have spark, but I have a portable CDI unit so I can make it spark. And then on a carburetor point of view, well, I could get a Chinese carb from eBay for $25, and I have a recoil. Somewhere I have a recoil, there I have a recoil, or I have an electric starter, so now I could turn it over. Once you get the engine running, then you can see if you got a tranny. If you got a tranny, the bike rolls, the tires hold there, now you're riding something, right? So you put it together a little bit at a time, but once again, you got to learn how to do it. If you're going to mess with tires, you got to learn how to take them on and off the rims. If not, you got to pay somebody to do it or buy tires on rims. Expensive. Carburetors. I mean, it's cool to rebuild them. The rebuild kit on these things costs just about as much as a Chinese carburetor, and the Chinese carbs seem to be pretty decent, so I have a tendency to just keep a spare or two Chinese carb fresh from eBay, so when I get one of these I just slam that right on. The ignition system, if they got a square box, the little CDIs from China go right in. If it's got a round plug, you can either alter the plug so that it is a square plug and use the square plugs, or, you know, once again, as you're troubleshooting it, you just use the portable ignition system and go through it. Cables. If you're trying to build something, or like that Easy Go, I haven't showed you, but the clutch cable is pretty trashy on it. I mean, it still works, but it's really, you know, it could break really any time. I got a bunch of emergency brake cables, and those came from Surplus Center, those folks out in Minnesota. Surplus City, Surplus Center, one or the other. Surplus Center, I think it is. And I got the cables. When it snaps, you know, using the little solder part thing, now I can alter one of those emergency brake cables to a clutch cable so that I can fix it, because I haven't had much luck finding a clutch cable for that thing. I can get a clutch disc for it, and I should get one of those and put it on the side, because I'm not going to be able to get Easy Go Cushman clutch parts forever. So I that's one of those things I should do. But learning how to alter a cable so that when I break a cable, you know, yes, it will be a pain in the neck, but I can fix it, and I'm not throwing away a little dump truck because I can't figure out how to put together a clutch cable, or I can't lay my hands on a clutch cable. I guess what I'm saying is, you know, what the hell am I saying? I'm saying I just woke up and I'm still tired. No, what I'm saying is, if you're going to do any of this stuff, there's a bunch of little techniques you got to learn. And if you use YouTube, you can learn those techniques. And one of the things I try to do with my channel is I try to keep myself organized. I try to learn those techniques, and as I'm learning them, I try to share them with you all. Thanks to Mustie1 for the visit. It was great. If you're ever going by again, please do swing by. I'll even buy lunch again, even though you didn't win a contest. For YouTubers out there, obviously we all have to be careful. You want to be careful about meeting me to make sure I'm not some lunatic, and I also have to be careful about meeting you to make sure you're not an axe-murderer in the background. With Mustie, it was easy because watching his channel over the years, you get a real sense of someone. So I had a good sense that he was a good person. So I mean, there was really nothing to worry about there. Meeting me, I don't know. As you watch my channel, am I a good person or am I a lunatic? I'll let you guys fill in the blanks there. Folks, thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for subscribing. I got a little video to do on a pressure washer. We'll do that separately. And so there'll be a couple of them banged up there today, a couple of videos banged up on the site today. Folks, take care. Remember, live, love, enjoy your lives. Try to be carefree and get the most out of it. Bye now.